How is it going, all of you lovely guys, gals, wolves, dragons, and everything in between? I'm your local Dice Wolf, and welcome back to Buried. Now, this is chapter 5, I think. The reason I'm not sure is because I'm actually recording this right after chapter 4, but what happened was that in the last part of chapter 4, I decided to rewind and just see what happens if I didn't shoot off Dennis's hand, and he sadly died because of it. I decided that I'm not going to rewind again, and I'm going to excuse me. My throat. I'm sorry. That I'm going to keep that choice, since the first time I played through it, I did shoot his hand off, and he wasn't very happy about it. So, however, when I went to, continue, it didn't say end of chapter 4 like it did when I initially went through it. However, it's to my understanding, from what I remember of my original playthrough, that we don't meet Barksdale until chapter 5, so I'm a bit confused. So I decided that for most purposes, I was going to end off the chapter 4 video there, and so we already read all this, but too long didn't read. We had to open the hydraulic doors, and this Barksdale guy is not very happy with this. Look, Barksdale, you can berate me and lecture me all you want when this mess is over. Right now, I have a wounded civilian here, and as you can see, several entities trying to get into this room. So if you could actually do something instead of sitting on your throne and yelling at me, that would be great. I'm impressed by our guts and wonder if there's some sort of beef between the two of them. Surely working in a place like this could cause some stress and tension between people. Right. As you wait, I notice small people on the door. I go to it and look out to the things. They're still looking for a way in, but finding no success. I wonder if they can sense or somehow see me through the door. Flip him the bird. You can flip him off. That's hilarious. Do it just for the meme? I don't know if I did it in my first one. Let's do it. You know myself, I hold up my middle finger to one and smiled violently. I get a blast of high-pitched sound in response. Okay. You'll be reprimanded for speaking to me in such a way, Barksdale says to Amy. Reprimand me all you want, I'd like to survive this first. Cover your ears, Barksdale shouts, walking away towards the fire in the room. Stay put until you're back for a minute. Thank you, Amy says the fire in her voice. She then turns to me and says, better do what the man says. Yeah, let's not test this guy right now. I clap my hands over my ears just in time to protect my hearing from a deafening blast. I can still feel my blood rushing out and running if this is what Dennis felt like at the beginning of his end. Before the sorrow of losing Dennis can consume me, something slaps against the wall of the room with tremendous force. I soon just know that the monster is slithering along the wall. But when I turn back towards the door, I hear something surprising. More bursts of a loud, explosive noise start ringing out. Looking through the peephole again, I can see the core of one of the beasts explode. It vanishes in a puff of smoke and clear liquid. Looking to my left, I see Barksdale in a shooting stance at the far side of the room. He's firing through a small slit in the wall, using some kind of high-power weapon, the likes of which I've never seen. I see a slight movement as the gun kicks, accompanied by a flicker of white light. Immediately, another monster is down, its tentacles flailing around aimlessly as most of its core is torn through. I feel gratitude and an immense satisfaction in knowing they're being picked off in such a way. Oh, I want to play. Well, I mean, we're just going to see him railgun these guys, right? I don't know, let's rest. I slide down against the door and simply wait, listening to the occasional patter of what I assume is their blood on the wall. I don't know how much time passes. Maybe 5 seconds, maybe 5 minutes. And I don't care. It feels nice to lie down. When the firing is over, I barely even notice it. Soon after, Barksdale walks back over to our side of the room. They're all gone, and I have resealed the hangar doors. How'd you kill him like that? Classified weapons that, quite frankly, you have no business being near. Too bad, brother. I'm here anyway. Deal with it. Amy gets to her feet and returns to the panel on the wall. Thanks. How badly is the civilian hurt? Barksdale asks Amy, as if I'm not good enough to speak to. Nasty cut. If you get some quick attention, it'll be okay. Alright, I'll have Strickland get a medkit. Strickland survived? Yes, and until you and your friends showed up, I thought we were the only ones. Hang tight, she's on her way. At that, he retreats to the back of the room, as if he can't stand to be around us. Amy approaches me and looks me over. You're in good hands. Strickland will be able to fix you up. Is she a doctor or something? Sort of. She's also a physicist. Oddly enough, she spent her time as a trauma nurse in the army. Is Strickland a friend of yours? Yeah, we've known each other for a while. The only woman in a sea of overachieving men. Barksdale sounds like a prick. He does. You must be glad Strickland survived. You must be glad Strickland survived. I am. We usually have lunch together, and she's helped me out of a few tight spots in my career. Within a few seconds, the door behind us opens, and a woman appears from back further in the chamber. She enters the room with what looks like a small suitcase. She's dressed in a very basic and drab military getup, complete with a holstered sidearm. Her name is Connie Strickland. She says, getting straight to the point, I can patch you up pretty good, but it's gonna hurt. I'm not, honestly not caring how much it hurts. My God, I just want to get out of here. To get home. Sit down and let's see if we can get your shirt off. Sit down, she'll start unbuttoning my shirt. She has to help me slip it off my shoulders, but we manage. How bad is it? Bad. Almost looks like a burn, but I've seen much worse. Might as well talk to Strickland, if only to distract from the pain. So what's your story? Strickland rolls her eyes as she gathers up a needle and some thread. I was always into fringe science. I started in a lab where the eccentric Russian scientists were being funded by the US to work on combining DNA types. Sort of became obsessed with perfecting human physiology while I was a trauma nurse in the army. You were a mad scientist then. I get that a lot, but no. Not compared to the stuff we do here. I don't even want to know. You sound like my mother. She wants to make sure I'm safe and cared for. Well, that's what mothers are meant to do. She knows my job is sort of dangerous, but of course I can't tell her any details, so she just worries. Any other family? No. Oh, she says as she works on me. I'm a workaholic. No husband, no kids. It's always just been my job. And until about a month ago, I loved it. What happened a month ago? It's when the teams here stumbled onto what they thought was a big discovery, Amy says, answering for Strickland. Yeah, that big discovery resulted in 20-hour workdays. I've been sleeping in my office for about a week now. When you guys ran in here, I was horrified. Those barrels outside, I'm not sure if you saw them. Well, if you'd shot them, it could have been bad. Why? The gray ones are filled with experimental fuel that's highly flammable. The yellow ones contain liquid nitrogen. What? Just lying around? Well, this area is the safest in the building. The most secure. Well, it used to be anyway. Take this, she says, handing me 4 pills. Painkillers. They won't work immediately, but they'll dull the worst of what you're feeling. Are these the best idea? Would they make me dizzy or out of sorts or something? All I get in response is an annoyed and determined look. I'd like to keep my head on straight, thanks. You refuse the painkillers. Really, I don't want to get lightheaded in case you have to move fast. I can handle it. Your call, Strickland says as she starts working on me. Slathers the wound with some sort of liquid that stings like crazy and I gasp. Let's grin and bear it. Ready to stab me yet? I'm fine. I grit my teeth in pain and try to catch my breath. The anticipation is the worst part. I'm relieved to find it doesn't hurt as much as I feared. It's no picnic for sure, but compared to the fire-like pain in my wound, it's bearable. So you and Barksdale are the only survivors? Seems that way. Those that didn't disappear into thin air were killed by those things. How many were killed? Guessing 30 or so. I'm not sure how many were scheduled to come in today. I'm glad to see you. Where were you when it happened? I was in the micro lab on level 2. Park and O'Brien were in there with me, and they just disappeared, I guess. It looked like they were being stretched, distorted, and then there was a ball of white light, and then they were gone. The ball of light just annihilated everything he touched. Or leave a perfectly round hole, I ask, a light bulb turning on in my head. We saw some of those up at the logging site. That was probably the same phenomenon. Amy looks like a child afraid to ask an adult for something. Finally, she asks, where did they go? We don't know. Could be an infinite number of different dimensions, or in some dimensions that merge and mix together. It could also be a place that exists between dimensions. Barksdale calls it the void. I'd call it dead. No, we keep tabs on the heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing of all the rats and human test subjects. Wherever they go for that time, they are still very much alive. I went to the wrist Strickland stitching, feeling the tug of my skin, but thankfully no more flowing blood. Finally, Strickland says, "You're good to go." I slid my shirt back on, aware of the thick padded gauze that Strickland applied to my shoulder. I had saved my shoulder, didn't I? So you and Barksdale have been able to contain all those creatures? Strickland appears shocked. Contained? Are you nuts? Do you not know what's happening? What do you mean what's happening, other than the initial experiment failure? The anomalies are becoming more numerous and further from the source. Oh no, the casual humor in her voice is now gone. What anomalies? Further from the source? From the location of the original experiment. Remember, it caused the first doorway to open, but it set off a chain reaction. They're gaining momentum along geodesics emanating from the facility. This was pockets of exotic matter and negative energy that are letting these things in. What the hell does that mean? It means in those doorways and monsters are starting to appear all over the facility, maybe even the surface. Not yet, luckily, but the doors will start appearing on the surface, and it won't stop there. Anomaly's reach could extend infinitely as far as we know. Those entities will appear on the surface in other states, other countries. Holy shit. You mean the world is gonna be overrun? Over the past few hours has made me ready to believe anything, but this is almost too much. Unfortunately, yes. Sorry. My god, Amy says, stepping away. Isn't there anything we can do? There is a last resort. Her eyes darting over to Barksdale at the end of the room. There's an emergency failsafe switch. I never heard of that. Where? You weren't cleared for that? And she wasn't cleared for it. And that switch is a way to stop this. What does the switch do? Why haven't you hit it already? What does it do? Switches our eraser. Destroys the entire facility and terminates any systems or experiments that are being conducted. So it's an emergency shutdown for interdimensional travel. It puts an event horizon around the facility? You mean a black hole? What the hell is that? It's the perimeter of a black hole, the boundary inside which nothing can escape, not even light. But there's two problems with hitting the switch. First problem is we'd all be killed, sucked into a black hole before we'd have time to evacuate. Second reason is that Barksdale won't allow it. What? Why not? He wants to allow those things to flood the surface? Thousands, millions will die. She puts her hands up, silencing me. They both appear to the far side, where Barksdale is back turned. I know. He says he doesn't care. He'll be happy to be rid of the oversight so he can continue his work. What? What do you mean, oversight? That is not an oversight. That is genocide. You mean our government? He's aware this could disrupt, even topple our government, and he doesn't care? Barksdale is, well, he's off the range right now. He's gone rogue and he's armed. Something makes me look towards the handgun I bought him with me. Nearly forgotten it in the last few moments. When Barksdale has his back turned, I take it in my hand and slide it behind me. Just in time, too, as Barksdale walks over from the back of the room to our side of the chamber. Good call. Give Strickland a suspicious look before speaking to her. Is the civilian going to survive? Yes, he's stitched up and good to go. That's great news. I'm sitting right here. You can actually speak to me, you know. Amy, it's quite nice to see you survived. Are there any others? One of them. The aloof way this asshole is talking to us is getting under my skin. I named Marcus that works on the first level from IT. That's all I know for sure. Marcus Papscott, where is he? We're not sure. He was separated from us. Oh, that's unfortunate. He seems to think about something that looks directly at me. You're with the logging crew, aren't you? Remind me, how'd you get in here again? And we fell through a hole. Ah, right. We lost our primary power source when the experiment failed. Experimental failure created those exotic matter pockets, the hole you fell into. And if there weren't enough of them, it may have opened a way into our facility. Depending on the power sources that were damaged, it could have also shut down the locking systems before backups kicked in. The subway system that we probably entered through. Everything is starting to make sense now. From the very start, it seemed peculiar that we've been so easily able to walk into a place like this. Where's the rest of our crew? Your crew, Frank and Joe, they're gone. Gone? Gone where? I ask. Hearing him speak the names of my crew enrages me. They were annihilated by antimatter pockets created during the failure. A bright ball of light. In the aftermath, all you'd see would be a round hole in the ground. Barksdale says this like he's sharing yesterday's sports scores. I let my face crumble into my hands. I suspected all of this. All this time, and they were already dead. So what now? Now it's time to continue our work, he says calmly, turning away to the instruments on the near wall. This guy sounds like a complete lunatic, but he's a lunatic that's accustomed to power and is armed with some kind of advanced weaponry. Yeah, let's not test the guy that has an anime railgun. So I keep my intentions spoken, assuming Barksdale is used to going on challenge people he considers beneath him. He certainly seems like that type. I want to continue my work. Other researchers will eventually discover what we have, sure. But I want it to be me. This is my laboratory. This is my laboratory. These are my experiments. The work I've led here will earn me my place in history. Quite frankly, I don't need to explain it to you. Up on the surface, they struggle to defend themselves since they won't know what they're dealing with. I have the necessary weapons. And after a few months, who knows? Maybe I'll decide the world is ready for me to help them. And we'll go from there. He turns his back to his assistants, walking to the far side of the chamber like we're some kind of distraction. Amy takes this opportunity to whisper to us. You need to hit that switch. It's the only option. What he's saying is murder, treason, genocide. Yeah, I said that. Looks over Strickland. But Strickland looks at the ground cleared torch. He won't look anyone in the eye and makes an effort to not look at Barksdale. He seems distracted with whatever instruments he's studying on the far side of the room. At this moment, I realize my body feels like a bomb went off inside of it. But maybe those painkillers wouldn't have been so bad. We'll be glad I have my head on straight later, probably. But Strickland finally whispers response. Even if you say they won't hit that switch, we're still in loss. You can figure something out, right? Maybe you guys can make a break for it. Where's the switch located? There's an elevator in the hangar. Take it to the basement. The switch is at the end of a long tunnel. But Strickland never finishes. Two things happen at once as she speaks, her mouth stopping in mid-sentence. First, a loud booming noise rings out, and then the top of her head seems to explode. Amy screams out in surprise, and I jump back in shock as Strickland's body collapses beside me. Behind her fallen body, he's holding his experimental rifle, and now he's pointing it at us. Oh, she's dead. Alright, well, thanks for telling us where it is, I guess. What the hell? Just killed her, by the way. Dead. I wonder if Barksdale is even crazier than Marcus. He just shot a woman that worked for him to keep her quiet. Sure, they won't have an issue with killing me. Now, no more whispering, no secrets. You two will stay near. You get over from the door. If anyone whispers one more thing, I'll blow your heads off. My mind is reaching out. My mind is racing to figure out a way to get through the secured door and into the hangar. Beyond that, of course, there was the failsafe switch. Insult them. No ideas, I resort to something I know how to do well. Be noisy. You moron. For someone in such a position of power, you sure think like an idiot. Kill me. Go ahead. Then you better get someone out of those woods to move my equipment. You really want the police snooping around a wrecked logging site for missing loggers? If someone as dumb as me found my way into your little hideout, my rant is having its intended effect. Barksdale's teeth clench and rage fills his voice, or his eyes. You're a fool! You don't have the slightest idea how difficult the work we do here, how advanced and world-changing. Keep talking. Okay. You scientists think you're so smart, but you have no common sense. All the knowledge in the world is useless if you have no moral compass. Okay, that's just true. If you think for one moment that you could do what? Quick as I can, there's my gun and fire. I don't even take aim, I just fire in Barksdale's general direction. Barksdale takes off running. My shot misses wide. He runs for cover to the back of the room. That's all we need. Amy also fires a shot to keep him under cover as we head to the door. She pushes a button and the door swings open. Barksdale will be on us in a second, so we dash out into the hangar ready to defend ourselves. Continue. Okay. Is this just a barrel here now? Amy and I run as fast as we can through the rows of barrels. Barstow comes charging out of the chamber almost immediately. As he steps on the hangar floor, he starts shooting. Each shot sends a jolt of fear at me as I wait for a bullet to end my life. We need to get to the elevator on the far side of the room. It leads down below to the switch. Run. I don't, run. I don't see why we would stay here. Go. Take a few shots in his direction, succeeding in getting him to take cover and pause his stream of fire. We both make a run for it, knowing we only have seconds. Somehow I make it through the rows of barrels and get to the elevator's entrance. I turn back to allow Amy to enter first, but she isn't there. I look back down and see that she's fallen about halfway down the row. She doesn't appear to be hurt, but she's paralyzed with fear, sitting motionlessly as Barksdale peppers the area with gunfire. Run back and give her cover. I start to step out into the open at back, but Barksdale gunfire pins me back into the elevator entrance with a loud bang. Apparently, he's reloaded that weapon of his. A spark fly inches from my face. I realize that I have to help her from here. I then remember the contents. One color has highly flammable fuel, the other contains liquid nitrogen. I'm no scientist, but liquid nitrogen is mostly harmless unless you have direct contact. If one of those barrels gets shot and liquid nitrogen spills out, I'm fairly certain it'll evaporate. I could create a cover of sorts for Amy, like a smoke cloud. Ah, hell, but which of the barrels? Strickland told us, but I can't remember. I have to remember quickly or Barksdale's gonna get careless with the shooting and we could all die. So, Deacon Barksdale. Strickland said the gray barrels have this flammable substance. This has to be the one with the nitrogen. I decided to shoot a yellow barrel. Yellow barrels, I'm fairly certain those have the liquid nitrogen in them. Without giving myself a single moment to second guess, I aim at one and pull the trigger. There's a pinging noise followed by a hiss. A stream of liquid nitrogen spills out and begins to evaporate immediately. Amy looks around for a moment, clearly baffled, but then figures out what I have done. She hits the ground right away, and for a moment, I lose sight of her in that cloud of mist. Behind us, Barksdale starts a fire, apparently not caring if he happens to hit one of the barrels of fuel in it. Moments later, I see Amy's shape emerge from the mist. There's a terrifying second where she's out of the mist and in the exposed space between the barrels and the protection offered by the elevator's interior. Barksdale gets off 2 shots, but the nitrogen mist has obscured his vision too much for him to get a proper aim. However, one of them nicks Amy's leg, sending her tumbling just before she reaches the entryway to the elevator. I dash out, lift her up, and we both hobble over to the elevator behind the cover of the mist. Thanks. Thank God you remembered which barrel was which. I reach out to press the call button on the elevator. We both step inside and close the doors. It's a service elevator, made of wood and metal, like something from a coal mine. We step inside and the doors close. The motors on the elevators sound like dying dogs. The elevator slides down, the light from the flames give way to complete blackness. Holy crap. Alright, though we saved Amy. Rah. I lose track of how long the elevator descends. It's hard to tell due to the lack of lighting, but it must go another 500 feet underground. Excuse me. The elevator comes to a stop with a shuddering clang, and I waste no time exiting. A tunnel stretches out with sparse white bulbs lighting the way. Most of the wall is made of raw earth and rock, but there are boards and concrete slathered in areas used to reinforce the tunnel. I see a warning sign up ahead. I want to read it, but there's not much time to read it. Authorized personnel only beyond this point. Trespassers will be... Oh, never mind. Absolutely no exceptions. Well, glad we got that out of the way. Now that everyone is dead, after only a few steps, the pain in my body intensifies. I also decided to turn down those painkillers. You'll be glad you kept your head on straight. I look up, and when I see the tunnel ceiling is 6 inches over my head, claustrophobia freezes me for a moment. The ceiling is not high at all, and there's barely enough room for Amy and I to walk side by side. Which is for the best, because her leg is clearly causing her a great deal of pain. She's soaked in blood and hobbling along. I don't think I can go any further. I'm trying to keep her composure. Sit down, I'll be back. There's no sense in chancing further injury to your leg. She nods and I help her down. She shudders in pain as she eases into a sitting position on the floor. Thanks. According to Strickland, the switch should be at the end of this hall. Claustrophobia freezes me for a moment. Just said that. Still, it's much better than facing the monsters above me. I wonder then, where they came from. Is the portal still open? hold the gun in one hand and feel my way along the wall with the other. The wall under my palm anchors me to reality, to sanity. I am not in some boundless abyss, but still in the real world. For a little while longer, at least. I recognize that I am marching to my end. As much as I wish I weren't, it's not surprising. From the moment I saw what those creatures could do to time and space, at least a part of me knew that death was inevitable. Before I have time to fully wonder whether my family will really miss me, I see a light ahead. It's nothing more than a speck of blue light, but in the darkness of the tunnel, it's like a lighthouse in a stormy sea. I slog forward, my eyes straining to focus on the little light ahead. Is there just something that sounds like water, trickling like a leaky faucet? And behind that, there's something that sounds like wind, a light breeze, and a voice. Anywhere else, the sounds would have been pleasant, but here in the blackness of the tunnel, they're menacing. I don't make a sound, instead trying to make sense of what's going on around me. I cock my head, trying to concentrate, then I realize I can see the tunnel walls now. This is odd, as I wasn't able to see them a few seconds ago. This is different from the blue light at the end of the tunnel. It's then that I see a light shimmering in the air. It's like a foggy mirror steamed over a shower. It's moving, dancing in the air like some abstract firefly. It's not menacing like the creatures, so that threat is null. It's peaceful, serene. Watch the shimmer branches on becomes 2, then 3, then 4. They snake out in different directions, tracing the tunnel walls. All these shimmers, the doors to other dimensions that Strickland was talking about. Suddenly I'm surrounded by light above and below me and realize there's no avoiding it. The question is, how am I going through? Let's go in feet first. Unable to resist, I step forward to where the tunnel wall should be. When I do, the shimmering lights branch out even more before connecting in one perfect circular form. They're hypnotizing, so much that I don't realize that the tunnel walls are vanishing. I feel like something like wind in a brief electrical pulse pass through me as lights take me. And then there's a very gentle pushing sensation, and I somehow know that I'm being expelled. I've passed through something. Maybe the lights, maybe the tunnel walls. I don't know. But the shimmering lights fade a bit, still dancing in the air, but no longer large and branching out. As my eyes adjust, I see right away that I'm no longer standing in that dark tunnel, beneath the hangar. I have no idea where I am. I'm just somewhere else, and I am terrified. The ground I land on looks like hot coals. There are dips and many cliffs breaking the landscape out of me. There's a wash of orange and blue overhead in a sky that makes no sense. It is both beautiful and terrifying at once. A scattering of stars sang overhead, and they also made me breathing, pulsing with a gentle energy as if alive. I can't tell if there are clouds in the sky because everything about it, from the colors to the trembling horizon line, seems to be amorphous. Everything is knitted together. Living. I stare a moment longer so I can feel the sky breathing. Off to my right, I see what looks to be a plume of fire, small yet bright with no source of fuel. It looks as if the ground itself is creating the flame. Several more of these flames dot the landscape further out. The landscape is thick and the air is thick and muggy. And then I realize something horrible. I don't know if what I'm breathing here resembles air at all. Well, I'm not suffocating, so probably. In a place like this, one of impossible beauty but also very stark horror, my mind doesn't know what to do. A wave of nausea comes over me and I think I might be sick. I'm not sure if it would be better to fight it or give in. The white light that brought me here is nowhere to be found. Is anyone else even here? Is there any way to escape? Let's look around the area. I continue to look out at this nightmarish landscape and see a few other unexplainable oddities. There are billowing frames in the distance, not like a volcano or explosions, just some kind of slow heat crawling upwards that defies reality. This analogy seems even more fitting when I see the thin vein-like roots of the fire twisting into the ground and darting back in all directions. Dude, you look like you're standing on a volcano. I get that sick feeling again in my gut and realize my mind just needs something to focus on. It's then that I hear a voice, faint, distant. I turn to hear it coming out of one of the massive crevices along the ground. Inside of that crack, about 10 feet down, a very pale man lies on a ledge. He's human, but looks close to death. He's in the center of a large pool of blood, and his left leg has been twisted and torn in an unnatural way. As I walk to the ledge, he looks up and sees me. Help me. Please. His eyes are wide, although everything about him speaks of weaknesses. He's close to death, insanity, or both. I mean, considering your reaction and you just got here, and this guy is clearly injured and has been here for who knows how long, I can't blame him. Who are you? I'm Dr. Kana. I work in the facility. Please help. Oh, we know this guy. I want to know more. It seems cool. This still looks like his last breaths. Just answer my questions. I'd love to, but I don't know where the hell I am or how to get back home. The light. It's a doorway. It might take you back to the facility. Where'd it go? They come and go. They'll be back. Now please help me. I just want to help. There's no way I can reach him. The ledge is too far away above the pools of fire. I don't think I can get to you. Well, that's not what I mean. He wants a handgun. What? I realize what he wants to shake my hand. I can't. I can't do that. Please, these things, they have the others that came here with me. I got dropped along the way. They'll be back. They'll be back in upcoming. That'll be quicker, less painful. I can't. Please, look at my damn leg. I'm dead anyway. I want to refuse him again when I hear an all too familiar static sound out from another crevice behind him. Hear another shrill noises and then watch as one of the monsters materializes. Oh no. They're on the way. Then the third, then 5, then 10. Soon I lose count as there was just a few that turns into a flow. Oh shit. Well, I still understand the man's reasoning. A bullet would be mercy. Check the gun and see I have only one round. Use it on this guy, but I may need it for myself later. Oh my god. Lunacy. He's going insane. Sure. Let's put him out of his misery. He chose to shoot the man. I'm bad man and wits. I know it's the right thing to do, but my finger resists. With more disgust, I level the gun towards his head, turn my eyes away, and pull the trigger. Your aim is true. The man crumples lifelessly to the ground. That's when I see the shimmers over him right, in the direction I originally came from. Sorry about that. Let me just finish. I look back to the monsters and see they have now noticed me. Then floating up the walls, they're less than 10 feet separating us. Shimmers of white light are within arm's reach, its movements reminding me of a fish in an aquarium. I reach out and feel myself accepted by them again. Feel the sensation of wind and wait for the feeling of being pushed out, back to the tunnel in the facility. It doesn't come this time. This time I feel something else. I feel a tugging sensation that seems to want to drag me in all directions at once. As the world goes dark, I realize that I'm somewhere else, and it is not the darkness of the tunnel. This is the darkness of a total void. There's darkness around me, everywhere. Nothingness. I feel nothing under my feet, nothing on my sides. I can't touch or sense everything at all. I don't even know which way is up or down. It's as though I'm all that exists. As I remain there, I just hear silence, not even the sound of my heartbeat. Blackness is so deep that I can't distinguish between my thoughts and what is real. You're screaming, but I can't tell if it's someone else or my mind screaming to fill this void. Just try to move. I try to kick and move my arms. It's not working. But it's clear, but it's not clear in what way it's not working. Are my limbs not moving, or have they gone numb? It's impossible to tell. Body has just become absent of all sensation. Oh, excuse me. My body has just become absent of all sensation. I assume this is the place that Strickland referred to, the place between dimensions. This darkness could consume me if it wanted to. I try to will myself out of it, to have the shimmering light spit me out, but it isn't happening. At this point, my mind starts to hallucinate, or at least I think it does. Are they visions? My mind playing tricks on me? I can't tell. All I can do is watch. I see the logging site, and Tony's legs still pinned under the dozer. I feel a pang of regret that I had left him in such a state. I see myself talking to Dennis, and he looks distraught as I tell him that Tony is dead. Then the scene rearranges itself, and I'm standing between Dennis and Marcus's gun. It changes again, and the shape of Marcus lies on the ground, still hell-bent, as Alan revenge even after I let him live. In my mind, I'm sobbing as I watch Dennis get torn apart by those monsters all over again, and I just stood by and watched. And I'm calmed a bit as I watch myself shoot the right barrel and helping Amy to safety. And just when I feel like I can't take any more of this, I see the man in that strange world begging for death. I watch as I take his life just before those beasts reach him. All of these things are flooding by my mind, and it feels like my brain is vomiting. In the midst of it all, I can see what's really important. The switch. In my mind's eye, I can see that glowing light in the tunnel. The far one. Small and distant. Focus my mind on the tunnel and the image of that flickering light. The mental effort so strong that it is nearly a physical motion. I make myself envision that little light in the tunnel as if it were right there in front of me. That, I feel the wind again. A light breeze that seems to come from everywhere. And then with a relief that I can only imagine feels like death, I move forward. We are so back. I'm ejected from the void, suddenly standing in the tunnel again. I let out a wail of triumph that turns into a bout of weeping. That weeping only intensifies when I see that light again, a flickering blue light. Somewhere behind me I hear a crackling noise. I think of Amy, down that way, by the elevator, but they reached her. There's no way I can find out. For now, I have to keep on with my plan. Besides, if it works, we're all gone anyway. I feel like I can listen and get a better read on where they are, or I can make a break for it. It doesn't matter where they are if we're just gonna wipe them out anyway. I don't bother looking back. There's no time. Instead, I run with all my might straight ahead, my focus on that little blue light ahead of me. As I run, I see a different light, a white one, flickering in my peripheral vision. It's one of those shimmers that goes to other worlds. It seems they're appearing and disappearing with more frequency now. Strickland's light. These things could reach the surface soon and unleash more monsters. That thought makes me focus on the blue light, the man-made light. Switch. Blue light gets closer, and as it does, I can make out a square shape around it. That's to be it. The familiar static scream of the monsters is much closer now. I have to be quick. I grip the gun tightly, regretting my decision to use the last bullet on the man in the other world. It looks like all I'll be using this for is as a bludgeon. I run and head into the darkness, my eyes locked on the switch that I assume is going to not only kill the creatures, but myself as well. As I approach, I see the lever. It's covered by a glass box that I'll need to break. Blue light is directly beneath this, highlighting a series of tubes and wires that snake into the inner workings of the device. In the middle is blackness. Not a darkly colored part of the machine, but just a hole in reality. It looks like some sort of illusion. It's a black hole. I have no idea how much time I have. Smash the glass. I draw back the stock of the gun and smash through the glass box that houses the lever. That shouting is like music to my ears. I reach out for the lever, my hand grasping it. Without warning, I feel immense pain course through my body. It feels like fire racing down my back, causing me to fall on one knee in agony. There's only one of them that I can see. It blasts horrible static noise at me as I ready my gun. No bullets left, I get ready to use it as a club. I try to strike. Monster bats the gun away, warping it into an S shape, and follows up by swinging its appendage at me. Something with such force with my back against the side of the cavern, my face striking the wall hard. My jaw crunches and I feel a sharp pain encompass my head. And then the creature is upon me again. The tentacles melt into me and I scream. I can't help it. I sound like a wild animal. I can try to keep fending them off, or I can go for broke and just focus on the lever. Creatures be damned. We're accepting that this is the end no matter what, right? Might as well take them with us. I put all my strength in my legs. The moment the monster in front of me draws back its eel-like arms to grab me, I pivot backwards. My back strikes the machine, sending agony rocketing through my body. So thankful I broke the glass before this moment, before the coming violence. I stretch out and grab the lever. One last desperate scream that shreds my voice. I jam it down. The tunnel is suddenly filled with a flash of intense darkness. It expands from the switch, swallowing the matter around it. At first, I'm sure this is the end of me. I expect the darkness to consume me, followed by death. Then another shimmer of dancing white light appears next to me. There are more of those streams of light, rips in space like the ones that previously sent me to the other ungodly world in the void. With nothing else to do but die, I try to escape into the shimmer. And that stream of light envelops me. The expanding darkness of the switch is gone, and I feel a huge push. Continue. Hello? I can't continue. What is happening here? Hello? I can't. What the hell happened? Alright, just a moment. Okay, I don't know why, but it's back. For some reason the game restarted in full screen, so I can't see. So let me just ensure that I'm recording. I don't know why I did that. And I should be completely back now. I don't know why I did that, but we're okay. My body feels stretched, collapsing, like I'm falling in all directions at once. The world goes white, and then there are pinpoints of stars everywhere. And the breeze is... Okay, I had to pause for a moment. I'm ready to see an endless stretch of stars and gas clouds, forming some kind of galactic architecture. Beyond the immeasurable beauty, I notice something. I'm seeing the same star patterns over and over. They're repeating like reflections of an endless mirror. To my left, I see a calm blue world and can barely make out trees. Familiar Kentucky trees that I've been around for the last few weeks. To my right, I see a copy. An orange world, and there are trees there as well. Something is strange, disturbing. As I zoom by, I'm not sure how much control I have in this unusual place, but if I can direct myself, it's worth trying. Let's try to head to the blue world. You decide to head to the blue world. Try to focus my mind on heading towards the blue world, not knowing what to expect. The breath escapes for a moment. Everything is dark and peaceful, and nothing hurts. Alright, yeah, the game for some reason had a moment, but it's okay. And we're here. Dozer. With breath back inside my body, I gasp and open my eyes. I'm back at the logging site. How? I'm not sure. The shimmers react with the implosion of the switch, some other accident. I have no idea. I sit up right away and become instantly dizzy. Amy, I say. There's no reason to think that she survived whatever happened in that tunnel, but there's some sort of certainty that gets me to my feet. I wonder if I'm somehow back in time before we found the facility. What happens next made me realize that can't be true. Walking forward, I feel a tremor in the ground. Somewhere off in the distance, I hear a metallic groan. Buried facility is being ripped apart under the ground by the activation of the switch. Trees are splintering and falling to the east, and I can see them toppling, just like dominoes. There's no way Barksdale and Marcus survived. Good riddance. See, got him anyway. I start to walk away in the opposite direction of the falling trees, but then I hear a scream. A woman's scream. I turn back and see a stumbling figure come out of the forest. It's Amy, and she looks like a ghost. How's she here? Did she fall into one of the shimmers as well? I decide I don't care and run to her. I throw my arm under her armpit, took her to me as we head back to the logging site. Are you okay? I ask. She can only nod through her tears. I look back to the area where the facility tore the woods apart and see a large plume of smoke rising up into the air. We've made it out of the facility and alive, and that, I suppose, is the most important thing. It's then that I look up and notice the sky. It's already began. Full circle. The sky's beautiful and familiar, unobstructed by the trees that have been standing several minutes ago. Take off my trusty hard hat and exhale, letting my body relax. It's finally over. I'm not sure how long it will take me to get back to some semblance of a life. But I know one thing for sure. Any day above ground is gonna be a good day. The end. So let's see what they have to say for the last chapter. Tough it out. I didn't take the painkillers. Who survives? I shot through the right barrel, keeping Amy alive. Mercy. I mercifully killed the man who asked for death. Going home. I headed towards the blue world and went home. The end. And I'm sure it'll restart, right? Oh, yeah, thanks again. Yeah, and we can restart from here. So that is going to be it for Buried and for my re-recording of the series. I likely will not make another video on this game, simply because I've already done it twice. I'll probably stream it eventually, but that'll be more like a chat-oriented thing. I'll do whatever my chat asks me to. But as always, stay smart, stay safe. Until next time, bye y'all.